I did that thing again where I forgot to turn off the dang speaker. So apologize for that back feed there, everyone. That sucks. I was really busy working on that new intro. I have a new intro and a new outro. I hope you guys liked that. I know you didn't like the back feed, or feedback or whatever. You know, I talk backwards sometimes because sometimes I live in the upside down world. Anyway, I was so busy messing with that I forgot that I had to turn off the speakers, which causes a great amount of interference with my microphone. So anyway, that's done. But yeah, here we are. We've got a pretty good looking guy here. The hair looks pretty fantastic. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of hard to see it, but you know, we primed him. He's ready to go. There's still a little bit of maybe some line. Looks like there's a piece of something stuck in between his legs. Not like that, but I'm not sure what that is. Thank you, my lovely wife, partner, girlfriend, amazingness, lover, accountant, caretaker, necromancer, all those things. Said that she liked the new intro. I'm glad that she did, because this one looks a little off. You need to just take that little piece right off there. Maybe that one. There we go. Now we got a little bit more forehead to work with. And there's not like there was like some broken hair there. I don't think you could actually see it from on the camera, but it was noticeable in person. Yeah, that's much better. And it definitely looks a lot more like me. Which is what my friend wants, so that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so that being done, let's do that a little bit more. Let's take a look at our paints. So, it's a pretty simple palette. We've got, of course, we've got our three sisters, if you will. My chef Pat that paints trio of paints. These things are my go-tos. I always have these on my palette. It's black, white, and a raw umber. So it's, you know, black, white, brown. Yeah. This brown, raw umber and burnt umber are amazing. They're going to be great for just about anything you need. It's that super dark, muddy brown. It works great on washes, especially if it's something that's organic. Organic stuff, for some reason, black wash doesn't usually look very good. And so you want like a brown wash. Even like sometimes with your leaves and plants can sometimes need just a touch of a brown wash, as well as a green wash. So anyway, those are our three up here. And then we're following it up with a little bit of burnt umber, which that too is old and all sorts of smashed, which is fun. A little bit and we'll use that raw umber for leathers and things like that. Same with this burnt sienna. Another great piece for like leathers. This one works like, these work kind of together, but this is your underneath, like your darker tones, and this is your lighter tones, highlights, stuff like that. Although burnt sienna is really kind of a thinner paint, so you might end up having to do it a few times, because, you know, sometimes different paints take a little bit longer to set up. Naples yellow, another big favorite one of mine. I love Naples yellow. Although I did get, where'd it go? I did finally pick up some Screaming Skull, which is almost the same color. Just to look at it, I was like, I want to see it, because this is almost more. Oh, I need to shake it. All right, so this is almost the same color as Naples yellow, but not quite. You can actually see right there that the Naples yellow is a lot more yellow than this Screaming Skull. Screaming Skull is it's a Citadel product, as you can see right here on the but it's a great bone color, and it's super thin, so it's a really good thing to kind of, when you're doing bone, and finish up with this guy. And it's a little different than the bone color you get from Army Painter, but this is an airbrush color too. So then they're slightly different. You can see they're just a little different in colors. So sometimes it's good to have a bunch of different colors. I do a lot of mixing, but you know, when you're trying to be fast, it's better to have a bunch of different colors, because then you can kind of just go, you know, and you can keep everything pretty consistent. especially if you're not good at mixing colors, or maybe you don't want to mix colors, or if it just intimidates you and it's just not something you want to get into. You can always just keep buying different colors. Pale terracotta, which is what I like to use for the base of most Caucasian individuals. When you're starting to deal with flesh tones, there's a bunch of different flesh tones from around the world. This has that great kind of Caucasian pink to it that we can work with over the... Ooh, look at that bubble. That was fun. It's kind of... Okay, I gotta stop. I'm having too much fun. All right. I gotta get serious and try to work. And then we're gonna use a phthalo blue. I love blue in general, and phthalo is like one of my favorite things to say. So, like, if this is going to be my character, we're totally going to give them some phthalo blue pants. So this is going to be his pants. I may put some stripes on them. I haven't decided yet. I was thinking about maybe some black pinstripes would be fun. But we'll see. We'll see if I get that wild with it. But anyway, so this is going to be our pants. We use that color for that. So it'll be very pretty. I like that one a lot. And then, of course, my one of my favorite iridescent bronze. I think we have a few little metal bits and stuff like that. Like there's some bits on the mugs and stuff like that. It could be metal. And we'll just go ahead and use this bronze. He's supposed to be a bartender, and if he's a bartender like I was a chef, that means that he likes to polish stuff, and he's polishing. So that tracks. Anyway, I'm gonna start some darn music and stop running my mouth, and we're gonna get out these paintbrushes and we're gonna start painting some stuff. Oh, I got another bronze. This is our brass. This is a Rune Lord brass. So we may end up using maybe some of this on some accents if we need to. But I did get it. That's another fun new color we have to add to all the insanity. So like I said, let's find some music and let's get this party started the right way, yeah. I hope you guys grab something to drink. And you got to play it somewhere comfortable to hang out at. Or maybe you got your headphones in and you're ready to listen to me rock and roll this whole thing out. Okay, put that up there so it's not in the way. Alright, so I'm going with my number 4. This is like my medium of my 3 smaller brushes I'm using here. We're going to work from the bottoms up. So I want this apron to be a darker color than his boots. So we're going to go with, we're actually going to put this down first for our boots. That's our burnt sienna. Don't worry about it if you get it a little bit on the other stuff. Everything around this is going to be pretty dark. So we're going with that dark blue here, and we're going to go with a darker brown on the apron. We want like a darker brown leather color for that apron. Maybe do brick on the floor. That might be fun. We'll have to get out some different colors for that, though. So we'll deal with that another day. That is not today's project. Today, we're going to try to get all our base coats on him in particular. Maybe even grab the wash, get the washes in. Shouldn't take long. And you notice I didn't take all that line out on his boots. I just tried to kind of, like I was saying, mimic the crease of it. it's kind of fun to use that as like the line where the leather is stitched together. It's always an option. They're usually stitched together on the sides like that, so, or they can be at least, so that's not uncommon. A lot of times it can be a single piece through the back to the front, but yeah, anyway. Lots of different ways you can put shoes and boots and stuff together. That's just an example of trying to maybe, we'll use your mold lines to help you instead of hinder you. Alright, so we're going to let that set up. We may come back with another coat, but I don't think so. I think we're probably going to wash this and then come back. That way we can just come back over the tops after we've darkened it up a little bit. And not lose the little bit of detail that we've got in there. Alright, so next we're just going to keep working our way up the model. That's his shirt there. Like I said, this guy shouldn't take long at all. It should be a quick, easy wham bam, thank you ma'am. The only reason we won't be able to get him done in one episode is because we gotta let paint dry. Normally this would be like a one-dayer if I were painting this off the show. I'd be able to let it sit and then come back to it later and finish it in the day. But it's so much more fun to do it on the show, especially for my buddy. Dave and I have known each other, oh gosh, for a long, long, long time. Since we were in like high school. Oh yeah, that's a fun blue. I love it. He got himself a little knife there too. Looks like it's in a little side sheath. Imagine maybe he's not just the bartender. Maybe he does a little bit of kitchen work as well. I think Dave was going to use him as a bard and ranger primarily, and then a little bit of bard for entertainment. Like I said, if you don't know me very well, you know I do like to sing and be entertaining. I love a good joke, and I love a good show, and even if I'm not actually participating, I love watching a good show too. So like I'm totally okay with sitting back and laughing at somebody else being the funny one, or enjoy someone else singing. I love a good show in general. Nope. Repants. Pretty fast and easy. Alright, we're definitely gonna we're gonna do that as a darker one too. So our sheath, we're gonna drop in this raw umber. We'll deal with that handle and everything later. We've got a little bit of a buckle here, which is great. We could actually, let's do that. So we're going to make the belt the same color as his boots with this burnt sienna. We'll have to pick that buckle out later. I need a smaller brush here. Where's see? Maybe I think I got it. I think I got it. That apron comes all the way around. That's fun. That's fun. It's like attached to his belt or something. I don't know. I don't get it either, but that's okay. I think sometimes when we're sculpting things, we don't think all the way through. You're just trying to get it to look good. You get to a point where you're like, oh, it's got to look, I just want it to look good. Especially on the back of some things. I think you guys heard me go on that particular rant more than once. That is one of the things with the more established model companies. A lot of times it's those little details that they're able to produce. You know, there's a big stink right now with Warhammer and Games Workshop, and I don't know, everybody's always mad about something with them. But it's hard to turn away their product or to get away from their product, because it is really good. All right, so the apron, we want the apron to be this burnt umber for its leather. Give it just that little difference of color. There's a tiny bit of shirt poking up there too. So when we get around to putting the shirt on, we'll poke that out. We'll pull that out. It's a lot of browns. I'm always like, oh, I gotta paint all this brown, and then what do? I paint brown. I think that's because most of the world has a lot of brown in it. People don't realize that. I think people think the world is all these colors, but it's really mostly brown and green and blue. Red is actually super rare. Flowers and insects and fish. Even our hair, like even a red-headed person isn't actually, the hair isn't really red, it's a brown. It's an orangey brown when you try to paint it. It's not true red. Like a cardinal, that sucker is red. And you can get flowers that are bright red. Fruits, which are also parts of flowers, plants still, yeah. But even then, like, that's just a part of the plant. It's not even the majority of the plant is green. Color's so fun. Okay. Hello, Georgianne. How are you today? Painting myself. This one's a lot of fun. It's been a giggle ever since we got it. Now, how are we going to do that? So there's this spot here that, like, his arm isn't actually, it's not hollowed out in between. It would be black typically. We're going to go ahead and brown this out though. We'll come back again later with the raw umber, which is a little bit of a darker brown, and then maybe even, I hate to put some black on it, but we might black that out just because that little spot needs to kind of disappear. If we can't get it to fade away with the browns. It looks like I missed one little mold line here on his arm. Makes it look like he's got some sort of medical shunt or something. Kind of made his arm a little funky. Like his whole arm is kind of funky here. And I might come back. You know what? We're going to leave that arm alone. And I'm going to see if I can't put together a little bit of... I'm going to have to fix that arm. It's all sorts of weird. I didn't notice it until I got there painting it. So we are going to get that arm fixed up. I'm going to paint what I can. And then we'll worry about his arm. Believe it or not, my hair is actually this color. It may not look that way. My highlights are much more of a blondie kind of highlight, but my undercolor is this burnt umber. It's a kind of a reddish brown. If I spend too much time in the sun over the summer, it'll get redder and like lighter. It'll blonde out more and get more red. That's so fun. Making that beard was probably a little too much fun, but it definitely has paid it off. That beard's gonna look great. And that extra bit of hair too, that's really paying off. Not a bad little added sculpt job, if I don't say so myself. Hair looks pretty good. Be interested to see it once we get all the other colors in here. Face is so tiny. This brush has got, looks like it still's got a little bronze in it. I have to clean it again. I feel like I'm gonna be chasing that bronze out of my brushes for days after that Malika. That was so much bronze. Oh gosh. Trashing my poor brushes. But let that be a lesson to everyone. If you're gonna have nice brushes, you're gonna have to take care of them. And you'll have to take care of them more if you use metallic paints. So either learn how to do, non-metallic metal style, or learn how to take care of your brushes. That's a fun thing. Poor guy, looks like he's got some scars. I might have done that. I might have clipped him. sculpting him. So for his shirt, we're gonna end up with like that white linen color. So we actually want to start off with this yellow color underneath. Then we'll add a wash to it, and then we'll come back and we'll put the white on top. Hey, it's Sir McBeardsley. How are you, sir? I'm doing well. I'm painting myself as a bartender. Finally get to live a lifelong dream. Being an adventurer who took an arrow to the knee and then retired to start a bar. If you get that joke, then you probably played way too much Skyrim. No needs unscathed in all of Skyrim. Absolutely. Sir McBeardsley has obviously played the game. It's separating pretty bad. We're definitely gonna have to wash it again. I think there's something stuck inside there. Sometimes you can get paint that actually dries like down inside your brush, and it will cause your brush to start splitting like more than normal. Like sometimes it just splits because it's drying out from the paint or whatever that you had in it. But if it's like you can't get more than 3 or 4 strokes before it starts to separate, you might have something stuck in between the bristles, which means it needs to be cleaned. I 100% the achievements, including the DLC, back on Xbox 360. Golly, that was a minute ago. Heck yeah, man. On 360, I didn't even know it came out on 360. I thought it was, but it was. It totally was. Now that my brain's like putting it all together. Crazy. I can't believe that game is that old. Heck yeah, that's fun. I love it. Came out 11/11/11. Wow. Golly. 2011. That's a long time ago. I didn't even think about how long ago that was until it all just came up right now. We're gonna have to fix this arm. It looks all sorts of weird. I don't know what happened. Like it's all sorts of skinny up here, and there's like a fat, weird, like bulge down here. I don't know how I didn't notice this yesterday. Like he's got like some. It's not a tumor. Some sort of tumor, or some sort of tumorous growth right here. Looks weird as fuck. Ooh, I should have said that. Oh well. Too late now. The YouTube does not like it when you cuss it. Okay. Alright, that took care of that part. Now we just got this weird... How's life been? Have the ball battle. Oh, so ball battles are over tonight. Actually, we got to go to the... He's going to get recognized by the board in the city of Bethany. Their board education thing, superintendent meeting, something. Anyway, so he's got to go do that. They did well for this season. They really did a whole lot better than they did last season, which is awesome. Like they doubled their positions in ranks and got a whole lot more notice from other teams, which seems to be like a big part of that. Like you got to have like other teams that are your allies and stuff. So it's a really wild deal. And I haven't actually watched any of the Fallout show. I've been busy nursing a back problem. I don't know what I did, and I bent over to put some. Oh, so silly. Just put some waters back in the refrigerator where I had got them out of, because I was replacing the ones that had been drank, you know, because that's what you should do. And I don't know, I just bent over, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna pass out from this pain. It shot up all the way through my back and stuff, and it's really kind of been hard to figure out what exactly I did to it. Yeah, maybe it's a pinched nerve, or it could be anything. So I've kind of been out of it a little bit, and I've been busy gardening. I put together a massive garden here at the house. I'm beginning the homesteading process, because that's like our next my next thing around here is to get the homestead going. Because if I can make a little bit of money painting and a little bit of money doing odd jobs here or there, whatever, making things, then I can, yeah, well, that's kind of what we're thinking is probably a pinched nerve. And it is, oof, golly, it's taken a long time for it all to chill out. But it's starting to get better. I'm getting a little bit better all the time. I don't feel like I'm about to pass out every time I stand up now, so that's good. But oh god, it's hurt so much. I've pinched nerves in my shoulder before, but I think if it was a pinched nerve, this is like the first time I've done it in my back like that. But oh, it was brutal. It was so brutal, so brutal. All right, so we mixed up a little bit of our multi-put here. And you only need like the tiniest bit, but it's hard to mix up like this amount of milliput. It's just not something you can do. So you always end up with extra. Like I said, I said earlier the other day when I was doing it that I make these weird shapes, and I make these weird like shapes out of them, and I have tons of them. Well, I shouldn't say tons. I have like a box of them. Tons would be an exaggeration. Of various sizes. See, like his wrist looks weak. Get in there. There we go. Now you could use like some more standard sculpting tools here. Would probably be more helpful. Let's see what I can do with just this hobby knife though. Just so I can show off maybe a little bit. It's a whole lot harder to make something look like flesh than it is to make it look like hair in sculpting. Not in drawing, which is strange. It's the opposite in drawing. It's a lot harder to draw hair than it is to draw skin. And I actually am going to get out, because I am positive this will work a little bit better than that knife. And this is just an old wooden skewer. I have tons of these left over from my restaurant years. Just gotta bulk up this wrist a little bit. His other wrist is big, but this one's like little. I don't know, it's weird. Take my strong hand. Here we go. Alright, so unfortunately that's going to have to set, but now it doesn't look like he's got some sort of tiny wrist on one hand, and whatever that growth was, that was so weird. I don't know what that was. We do need to well, we'll let that dry for a second. We'll work on this other stuff, and we'll come back. Because it's a tiny bit of mill put. That might dry up. That might dry up before we have to get off the air. See, there goes splitting again. You can see it splitting. Well, maybe you can't, but if I can get it in the camera. So you can see, there it goes. You can kind of see how the head of it's splitting. It usually means there's something down on the inside of it. Because it'll split, the hairs will go from like this, that they'll split like that. And when it does that, that means you probably have something in it. And you want to get that out of there. And that soap I use will do that. It'll take it out. You might have to wash it a few times. It can get a little annoying. Alright, remember this is our base coat, so we're just trying to get that color on there. We'll worry about it being super perfect after the wash. You don't want to be, I don't want to put pink in all this blue or something like that, but don't stress too much. If it gets a little off. Okay, I'm going to paint a little bit of this. I'll paint this part of it brown. And then we'll accent it with bronze. The towel, we're going to start it off white and then we'll stain it. And this will really help it pop out if it starts based white. His hand looks so weird. That arm looks so funky. But at least it filled in that strange gap up at the top. That does help. That's gonna look a lot better in the end. Okay. I'm gonna do just a tiny bit of black on the inside of this cup. Just a tiny little bit. Alrighty. Alright, so I'm gonna grab just a tiny, this is a little bit of gray wash, not gray wash, but gray primer. We're just gonna drop a little bit on top of all this just to get it back to primed. I think we're going to be able to get this thing fixed before we got to quit. Alright, this gap in between, I'm going to put in some of that raw umber. Just kind of set kind of like a placeholder for the gap. And we'll probably come back and do a little bit more of this bronze too later. I'm going to drop it down right now so we can kind of get the beginnings of that base going. And we'll come back and, like I said again, we'll highlight it again later. I'm not going to worry about his belt though, because anything we do on the belt is definitely just going to get completely covered up by the wash. I'll let that primer dry. I'm going to take a drink of water and some coffee. But yeah, I definitely want to watch the rest of that Fallout show. But last Wednesday we had a lot of medical things going on too, where we had like appointments we had to go to and things like that. So like we only have Wednesday where we don't have children, and it's definitely not one of those shows I want to watch with my kids. So we're gonna get around to that later. But you know, from what I've read, it sounds like it was really good. For the people that are whining about it are the kind of people that whine about everything. So whatever. There's people that are gonna whine about anything. That is like the most true thing I've ever learned in my life as I've gone through this amazing game that we play in reality called life, is that there are certain people, my friends, that will complain about everything. I don't know why. It's just one of these things where I guess it gives them agency. It makes them feel like they have some agency if they complain about it. But no, I feel like they did a pretty good, it looks like they did a pretty good job with the show. So I'm excited to see it. Like I said, I watched the first episode and it was great. Sir McBeardsley says, yeah, most definitely. We say my girlfriend's mom slapped my girlfriend down and watched the first episode, and she's 59. She loved the first episode and was excited to watch more. Yeah, I mean, it's good storytelling. I mean, you know, it's the same thing like argument with the Chani in the new Dune movie, where they're like, oh, well, it's not like it is in the books. It's like, well, okay, but in the books, like, Chani has like 8 lines in the whole series. So, like, you know, I shouldn't say 8. It's probably more than 8. But the point being that the character isn't that big of a deal across the 8 books that is Dune. And, like, Frank doesn't tell you everything that happens. You know, there's lots of jumps in time that we don't know what happened between Paul and Shawnee. You know, the character as written was something strong enough. It was a person strong enough to become respected in her community. She was Paul's like rock when he got crazy and things went weird for him, and she was a Fedaykin, for crying out loud, like a badass fighter, you know. So like saying that, oh well, she shouldn't be so independent, that's just showing something else, you know. That's a different kind of, you got a different kind of mentality there. You're angry about something else. You're not actually angry about this movie. Because you want it to be marketable. You know, it's having a strong female lead in there like that. She wasn't the main character. It's not like they gave her the main plot of the story or anything, but she's got to be believable, and it's got to be attractive to modern audiences. Same thing with Fallout, you know. It's got to be attractive to a modern audience. If it's not, you're not going to sell it. Nobody's going to watch it. I mean, you couldn't make that game into a TV show exactly. It wouldn't work very well. Alright, so here we go. We're going to make a little bit of our raw umber wash here. Get a little bit more of that water off of there. And here we go. We're going to ruin this whole model by painting all of this all over it. It doesn't actually ruin it, everybody. I'm just being funny. You're doing this on purpose. So the base coats are down. We're just going to drop this wash in. Just set him up, and then we'll pick out all our details and adjust our colors and pick out our details. I had that backwards. And as I'm working at this bottom first, because that's what got done first, so I know it is 100% dry, and I know his back is dry. We'll get down into the rest of that stuff here in just a little bit and check it out. We need a little bit more flesh before we come up here. I got to ranting and I didn't finish my my job here for me. But yeah, I've enjoyed both of them so far. It's an interesting idea, you know, the whole idea of post-apocalyptic America in a future that things went exactly the way the big controllers of the world would have liked them to go. That's what blows me away with Fallout the most, is like, it's one of those stories to where you're like, oh my god, if things had gone a certain way in the 50s and 60s, we could have ended up like this. This could have happened. Like, it's got just enough of that realism to catch you. And science fiction doesn't always have that in it. It doesn't always have the ability to do it at all, honestly. Just because science fiction is, you know, it can take you off to a fantastical world instead of something that seems so real and so close. Oh, it weirdly says he loves the way that they've adapted the show from the video game source. See, and that's what's so... It's really hard. Like, all the Mortal Kombat movies are funny, and they're entertaining in a way, but they're terrible movies. They're just terrible movies. You can't tell that story in a way that, I guess, it's not going to be great. They did it already. It was Enter the Dragon. I mean, Bruce Lee did it, and after that, it becomes just... You're just deluding yourself. But like stories like Fallout have a little bit of a... It's like a new take on things. It has a new idea, a new feel. Alright, okay, so... Got our washes. We're going to let these washes start setting in for us. And we're going to have ourselves a real good looking mini here soon. So tomorrow we're just going to come in and we're going to tighten up all of the rest of this stuff. Which time we got? We got 10 minutes. Let's see. I need, that is our crimson. That's my teal. So for the, here we go. I had to go through all my goldens. So we're going to add this alizarin crimson hue. This is going to be our base brick color. This will make a great brick. And that brick color should look real great with our blue pants. once the blue comes in, once we finish pulling it back out. Mixbeard Lady says, one thing I highly recommend them, or highly commend them for, is building set pieces and using practical effects rather than, yeah, that is something I noticed in that. They've got a lot more practical effects than I was expecting. I was expecting to go, kind of expecting them to go with some cheaper CGI work, honestly, but I'm really glad that they didn't. I like all the practical effects. But a lot of the stuff in Fallout lends itself to being able to do that, because it's a lot of the same things we have. Even the technology itself is like an antiquated look to it, so it's easy to kind of reproduce a lot of that stuff. You know, and like you can tell there's some small bits of CGI in like some of the big shots where they're looking out, you know, across the wastelands and stuff like that. But you expect that there, and it's seamless. You can tell that they had a shot, and then they used CGI to kind of clear out things that to help and tint the scene to make it look like the wasteland. And that's just from me watching the one episode and the little clips that I can't avoid online. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about too much now. What I really want to do, though, is I want to maybe darken up a few of these. And maybe lighten up a few of them, too. A little darker than that. There we go. So yeah, CGI for enhancement is good. CGI for effects can get muddy. Yeah, that's one of my biggest complaints about some of those newer movies has been that it seems like the over-reliance on CGI is it's not a good thing. It's a hindrance more than it is a help, it seems like. It's like you can phone it in on CGI or something. I don't know. Hopefully you can see how that little bit of change up in those bricks is going to help make this look more interesting. Because in the end, that's really all this is doing. It's just going to, brick is brick. This is just going to make it more interesting. We can even lighten some, do a little bit of some of that's lighter. Maybe lighter and just maybe a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, varying your brick colors is going to be just one of those little tricks that can really sell something that you're like, oh, how am I going to dress this up? I can't. There's not much to work with or whatever. So this is how you do it right here. It's such a subtle difference, but it does make a difference. Come back with just that crimson and hit some of these other ones that are just crimson. A little bit more of it. Let that dry up, and I gotta get ourselves rounded up here and ready to go pick up kiddos. So we are going to come back. I will throw a wash on that brick tonight, and after it dries, that way we won't have to come back and mess with that too much more. And then all we got to do is some quick highlights on this guy tomorrow. Finish up his base, and he is a done dude. So after all those big things, it's so amazing how fast little ones go. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. I really appreciate everybody stopping by and saying hello. Always great to see you. Mr. McBeardsley. God, I love that name. And always great to talk about Fallout, one of my most favorite universes. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you guys like the new intros, and I've got a new outro coming, so not that actually matters all that much, I suppose. But anyway, if you're checking this out for the first time, thanks for coming by. Appreciate that. If you're checking this out for another, one of the many times, thanks again. Great to see you. Really appreciate that. Drop us those likes, those subscribes, all that stuff that we're supposed to be saying, and we're gonna talk to you later. So have a good. Hey, I'll see you later, Shy. Have a good day.